Hello and welcome. In today's video, we're focusing on live streaming using the Yolo Box Extreme. I'm going to run you through the complete equipment setup that I use, including multiple cameras and external audio. We'll dive into the device settings. I'll show you how to set everything up, prepare for your live stream. We'll touch on auto switching, a little bit of 4K, and by the end of this video, you should feel comfortable and ready to go live using this device. So without further ado, let's get started. My name is Cree, and on this channel, I talk about tech with context. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I have had multiple live stream setups, but I am on a mission to make my setup as small and compact as possible. I have used the Rodecaster Pro 2 paired with the Edholm Mini Pro ISO. In this case, I still need to take a laptop with me to actually do the live streaming, and then I also have a monitor so that I can monitor the setup during the recording, and this is probably the largest size setup that I currently use. Then there's the Rodecaster Video. This definitely made things a little smaller, and also this gave me the ability to incorporate all of my XLR microphone inputs with my video inputs into one small size device. However, I still need to take my laptop with me to do live streaming, and then also to access all the settings on the Rodecaster Video. I like to be able to get my hands on those. And if I'm live streaming, I do like to also bring an external monitor so that I can keep an eye on all of my video and audio feeds during the stream. And then YOLO Live releases the Yolo Box Extreme. So this makes my setup even smaller in size. The monitor's built in. I can stream directly from this device, so I don't need a laptop or any additional software to do any of that stuff. I can also connect various audio and video sources, and this is so nice and small and compact. In this video, by the end of it, you should feel comfortable going live. I'll show you exactly how I set everything up. The Yolo Box Extreme has a number of ports. It has 3 1080p HDMI ports. It has 5 4K HDMI ports. You're going to have 2 HDMI outs. You have Ethernet port, 2 USB-A ports. You have 2 mic line in, a Type-C, USB-C Type-C port, and then also a port for power. On the side of the device, there are 2 options to add antennas. And then on the bottom, there is an audio out so that you can monitor your audio using headphones. There is a spot for an SD card, also a SIM card if you want to use a SIM card to live stream rather than an internet connection. And then we have the power button. For today, we're going to do a multicam setup. We're going to use 3 separate camera angles. So I'm going to plug each camera into one of these 4K HDMI ports. As far as the camera settings go, we're going to be live streaming. So I recommend either using 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. Go ahead and set your settings to 4K. So this is something that's unique about the Yolo Box Extreme at this point in time. Other consoles like the Rodecaster Video or the Edholm Minis, they don't allow you to stream in 4K. The Yolo Box Extreme does allow you to both stream and record in 4K. And again, we have some more settings that we'll dive into a little bit later. So have all of your cameras set up to the exact same frames per second. And then also, if you want to do 1080 or 4K, make sure all your cameras are set up the same. Now that video is all set up, a video is pretty straightforward. I mean, you're just collecting the video signal into this device, but audio is a little different. In this device, you have a number of options available to you. First of all is to just use those HDMI inputs. You can collect both audio and video over those inputs. If you want to use audio that's connected directly to your camera, then you do have that option. Now, if you want to take advantage of the line mic in options, there's also a couple of different ways you can do that. Now, if you're using an XLR microphone or multiple XLR microphones, you're going to have to use some sort of an external audio interface. This could be anything from a single XLR input all the way up to something like the Rodecaster Pro 2, where you can capture 4 different XLR audio inputs. Another option, and also to make this setup even smaller and smaller, is to use something like wireless microphones. Wireless microphones are great because you can utilize these line mic in ports. So in this case, I'm going to take 2 receivers, and you do have to have 2 receivers to be able to do this. I'm going to plug one receiver into line mic 1, the other one into line mic 2, and then I'm going to have 2 microphones. So I can just attach these or use lav mics or whatever you want to do. If you want more of an interview look, like let's say you are recording a podcast or an interview and you'd like to use microphones, another option that you can do is you can turn any shotgun microphone into a wireless microphone using any wireless microphone system. So we'll use this microphone setup as an example. This could be 2 people sitting at a table and you are capturing a podcast interview and you're live streaming that interview. All you have to do is take your wireless microphone and where you plug a lavalier mic in, you just connect the microphone and now you have turned this shotgun microphone into a wireless mic. This is a great option because if you do want that microphone look in whatever it is that you're recording, you don't have to deal with cables. You can still keep your setup nice and small in size. So it's just something to consider when it comes to evaluating all of the audio options that are available to you using the Yolo Box Extreme. All of our equipment is set up, so let's go ahead and look at all of our device settings. We're going to go into the live stream option here. And on the lower right, let's go ahead and set up our live stream. Now, just because we're setting it up and we hit create, it doesn't mean that we're going live. This is just doing all of the work beforehand. And then once we're ready to go live, there is a dedicated option to do that. So let's go ahead and just name this test. And you can, of course, name this whatever you want. You do have the ability to make changes to the setup before you go live. So don't worry too much about this at this time. A description is optional. If you want to schedule a stream in the future, just place your date and time. That's also optional. And you can upload an event cover. To do this, just have your thumbnail or event cover on an SD card or in that external SSD drive. And all you have to do is just upload from there. I'll show you here, there are some built-in templates that we'll just use for a sample purposes. So I'm going to just click this thumbnail sport option and the event cover is there. And now we're going to go ahead and create. Next up, we'll hit this icon on the upper right side of the device. We're going to connect to any channel that we want to live stream to from this screen. And then we're also going to make sure we're connected to the internet. In this case, I'm going to use Wi-Fi. You can do a hard connection using the Ethernet port on the back of this device. But today we are going to utilize Wi-Fi. First, let's go to the add platform page. I'm just going to add my YouTube channel today. So you're just going to go through all the prompts and connect your channel. You can see I do have my Edholm channel connected. And now let's go ahead and hop over to connections. I'm going to utilize a Wi-Fi connection today. Something that's good practice and that's also built into this device, which I love, is you can run a speed test. So if you are on site with a client and you're using on-site Wi-Fi that you're not familiar with, this is something that you can do, just run a speed test. So this test result is showing that my connection is fast. So I'm feeling pretty good to live stream using this connection. There are a number of different options. These are just general setting options for this device. So you can run through those if you'd like. But now let's go ahead and get into the specific live stream settings. So now we're going to get everything set up before we actually go live. We'll hop right into this test setup. And here we are. You can see the 3 different camera angles. To switch camera angles, all you have to do is select the camera angle that's shown there. At the top here, you can see it's kind of small, but there is a go live button. Remember, we're not live yet. We're just setting everything up, but that's what you're going to select before you go live. So no worries until you actually touch that button. On this screen, you can see that I have my YouTube channel connected. Now, if I did connect to multiple platforms, you're going to see all those options on this page. And what's nice is you can either turn it off or on depending on where and how you want to live stream for this specific moment in time. So I just want to make sure that I turn that on. And because this is a test live stream, you can set this up ahead of time to either stream publicly, unlisted, or private. I'm going to click unlisted and hit done. So this was just our connections option. We're going to run through all of these menu items before we go live. Let's go over to the record page next. This is where you're going to start to see the difference between streaming options and recording options. I am recording to that external SSD, so I want to capture all of the different inputs, including the program input. The program is everything in one file. All your audio, all your video, any switching that you might do during the live stream, it's all going to be captured into a high-level program file, but by selecting these different HDMI inputs, this is going to give me a separate file for each of my camera connections, so I definitely want to select those. Also, if we go into this encoding page, there's stream encoding and there's also recording encoding. This is a really nice option that YOLO Live gives us, is we can stream using one format and record using another. So I actually want to record in 4K. On here, you have multiple options. And because we set all of our cameras up to send a 4K signal, this gives us a number of options to use here in the interface. So let's go ahead and select 4K for my recording. I am using 30 frames per second. That's what all my cameras are set at. So I'm just going to match that here. And then up here for streaming, I'm actually going to stream in 1080. I recommend doing that. So then that way you don't run into issues with higher bit rates and so on and so forth while you're streaming. And again, that's set at 30 frames per second. And this is just the basic setup for setting up your stream settings versus your recording settings. Let's go back out of here, go back to the record main page, and let's look at recording limits. I want to record continuously. If you select 10 minutes, 20 minutes, etc., that means your recording is going to stop based on those number of minutes. But I want to record everything, so I'm going to use continuously. And if we go into storage settings, this is where you can select between a USB drive or an SD card. If you're only using one camera, you might be able to get away with using an SD card, but in this case, we have a multicam setup with multiple audio inputs, so I'm going to use this USB drive. But this is where you set whatever it is that you want to record to. Next up is the comments page. This is a place where you can monitor any incoming comments. I'll show you how that works a little later. And now for the overlays. I'm going to add a couple of overlays that I'm going to utilize during my live stream. You can see all of the options that are available to you, but I want to use a countdown timer. So I like this one right here. There are a bunch of settings over here you can adjust. I'm going to make this a 2-minute timer. So that way I can go live and have this countdown timer running, and that will let people who are tuning in know when the live stream's actually going to start. So we'll select done, and that'll appear here on the overlays page. And the other thing I want to do is let's do a social overlay. I'm going to add my Instagram handle to the stream at some point. So we'll just go ahead and add that like that. And then if you just put your finger over this, you can actually drag that wherever you want it to appear on the stream. Again, other settings are in here, but we'll just do this for now. We'll click done. I have a few overlays set up that I want to utilize during my live stream. To turn those on, you just select them, just like the different camera angles, and then to turn them off, you just select it again. Moving over to the video source transitions, when it comes to live streaming, I just suggest that you only use cut. Once you start to incorporate different transitions, sometimes there's a delay or it comes out a little weird in a live stream, so I just use cut, the default setting there. You can add any background music. This works the same way. You just upload them using your external SSD or an SD card. You can add them here, and then if you want to incorporate music during the stream, again, you're just going to select whatever that is when you want to use it. And over here is the audio mixer setting page. This is where you can monitor all of your audio, and there is a setting in here that I just want to point out. If we move down here to HDMI 4, 5, and 6, if you want to use the audio coming in from your cameras, you want to turn AFV on for whatever cameras you want to capture that audio from. This means audio follows video. And I just want you to be mindful. You have to physically turn those on if you want those to be a part of your stream, and you can see the levels here. But if you're doing a live stream and you turn on AFB for all your cameras, it means that all of the audio is going to come through and it's going to be sent out to your live stream. This does not sound good. So choose one audio input, however you set up your audio at the beginning of this video, however you set up all of your equipment. You just want to make sure that those settings match up to whatever audio feed you want to send out in the live stream. So this is my wireless microphone. You can see this signal coming through up here at the top. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that that mic is on and your program's on, but turn all your other audio inputs off just to make sure that you don't have all of the audio fighting over one another, echoes and things like that. It'll make for a nice, clean live stream. Moving along, you can invite guests to your live stream. The way I typically do this is using software like Zoom or Riverside, or insert software name here. But YoloBox actually gives you the opportunity to invite guests directly to your stream. All you have to do is enter in their email. It's going to send an invite, and then they'll be able to click a link and join your stream. You do have control over when those people can be brought into your stream. So if you want to mute guest audio by default, I always turn that on. And that way, if they're chatting or just kind of hanging out waiting to join the stream, you're not collecting their audio. And then you also do want to allow participants to join. If you're live streaming sports, you can display a scoreboard on the screen. You can also do replays. Just make sure this is all set up prior to going live. And finally, let's talk about auto switching. I might do a video in the future just to give you an example of what auto switching looks like. If you're someone like me who's typically the only person there doing all of the production and monitoring everything, auto switching can really be a lifesaver. So this is something that I do like to set up prior to going live. Before you turn the functionality on, go ahead and enter into the settings section. You want to select all of the video sources that you want to incorporate into the auto switch. So we have 3 cameras. We're going to select HDMI 4, 5, and 6 as options. And loop, I just turn off. Sequential order is fine. And then the main video source is actually going to be HDMI 4. This is my main camera right in front of me. So I'll just select that just to make sure that the device knows the difference between my main camera and the second and third cameras that I'm using. Going back to this main auto switch screen, start video follows audio. Start video follows audio means in this case we have 2 microphones. So what I can do is if somebody's speaking into this particular microphone 1, let's call it, then we can set whatever camera angle we want to match up with this particular microphone. So as soon as the device picks up on audio coming from this mic, it's going to switch to whatever camera you define, and then same with a microphone 2 in this case. If you are using an external audio interface, then you cannot fine-tune these settings. So you do want to have multiple microphones running into the Yolo Box Extreme in order to do all this mapping during a live stream. So just keep that in mind. Here are all the settings associated with Start Video Follows Audio. You can choose the delay sensitivity. I like to turn this up. I like for my switching to be on the quick side. The minimum switch duration, 2 seconds is fine, so it's not going back and forth too quickly if people are going back and forth. The next setting are decibel thresholds. This means that the decibels at which the device picks up from your microphone, that's when it's going to trigger the auto switch. So you can change those levels there. Now we're going to do the mic to camera mapping that I referred to a little earlier. Select Choose Audio Source. This is giving you 5 options. You can only select 3 options just for the sake of mapping and setup today. I'm going to select HDMI 4, 5, and 6, those audio inputs. Let's go back to the main menu here, and now you can see all of those options down here below. Once you have those audio sources selected, this is the screen where you're going to make all those mappings. So HDMI 4, if there's audio coming in there, I can select which camera I want to switch to, and so on and so forth. You can even do multiple audio inputs. So if two people are speaking at the same time, you can switch to a specific camera angle. And you'll just want to run through all of your mappings again before you start your stream. These are all the items that I like to set up before I go live. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this connections setup screen. I'm just going to make sure that I have all the channels that I want to stream to. Just double check that. Make sure that I am streaming wherever I want to stream. And then I'm going to go over to the overlays screen because we're about to start our live stream. Go ahead and enable that countdown timer, and now I'm going to hit the go live button. This screen is going to pop up, and just confirm that you want to record and live stream at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and select start, and now you can see that I am now live. Typically during a live stream, I'm not going to be speaking at this time because I have the countdown timer going. This is going to give me a few moments just to get settled in, and once that countdown timer hits 0, it's actually going to automatically disappear and your live stream will begin. All right, I am officially live. You can see that that countdown timer automatically disappeared from the screen. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my social media handle as an overlay. And then the next thing I'm going to do is select to review comments. So as people are coming into the live stream, you'll start to see comments right here on the screen. And what's great about this is if you select a comment, it's going to display as an overlay in the feed. This is really nice if you're doing a live Q&A, if you're accepting questions, or if you want to display any comment from any of the viewers. This is such a great way to interact with your audience. And then if you want to remove that question from the screen, you just select it again and you can scroll through all of your comments. During the stream, you can manually switch all of your different camera angles, but if you're like me and you're speaking and you're also trying to manage all of your different camera angles, this can be a little bit of a challenge. So this is when we're going to turn to auto switching. We'll go over to the auto switching tab, and now we just want to start video follows audio if we do want to trigger all of the mapping that we set up earlier, and then of course if we want to start auto switch. Now the auto switching is kicked in, and you're going to see how it'll just switch on its own during the stream. If you want to disable this and go back to manual switching, you just select the disable button, and now you're back to your regular setup. And of course, during your stream, you can do other things like load your music so it's playing in the background, add the scoreboard, all those things that you set up prior to going live. You have complete control over everything right here from the screen. When you're ready to live stream, and I didn't point this out earlier, but there's the live stream button right there. It's kind of small. I wish that they'd make it a little bigger for us, but there's the record button there. You can control your stream and your recording separately, even manually when you're going live. So if you want to stop your recording at any time, you can do so right now. But this stream is wrapping up, so I'm going to go ahead and select to stop. Do you want to pause the live stream or just end it? We're going to go ahead and end it. And now we're all wrapped up. You're going to get this second dialog that says, the system is recording. Are you sure you want to stop recording? We've stopped the live stream. If you want to continue recording to that external SSD or SD card, you can do so here. I'm going to go ahead and select done. And now it's going to stop everything. And once you're done with your live stream, it's going to kick you back to this main screen. You cannot go back into your live stream, just something to note. But if you recorded your live stream to an external SSD, you have access to those files now. And then, of course, whatever platforms you live stream to, you have access to that video from there. So you can make any changes on those platforms if you want to once the live stream is over. That's how you set up everything for your live stream using the Yolo Box Extreme. I'll tell you what, I am impressed not only at the size, but all of the functionality that they have packed into this small size setup. This makes it really easy for me to go on site and record with clients, also to live stream with clients. I often live stream events, interviews, podcasts, and this is just one nice and compact device for me to do that with. If you have any questions about live streaming setup specifically, keep in mind that I do have plans to put some other videos out. I want to focus on 4K recording and then also talk a little bit more about auto switching. But if there's something else that you'd like to learn about this device, just let me know in the comments below. Thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll see you again in next week's video.